gonna bring the devil down to the earth with my sinful ways.
I'm gonna reap the souls of the young, because that's what keeps me young. It keeps me immortal.
I love snake English.
Now, I've complained about my fair share of the Christians that bark at me like a dog for existing. I'm not going to be repeating myself in that regard for today's video. Instead, I'm going to be talking about a new crop of Christians that have begun to rear their ugly heads and sit down with me even though I didn't invite them to do so. These are the type of Christians that want to sink their teeth into you like a parasitic leech and just suck the soul out of you. These people in particular have the worst case of a savior complex because they're so in their heads about wanting to save you, about wanting to save the sinner like their Lord and Savior Jesus. But in reality, these types of people wish that they had a quarter of the decency, of the love that Christ himself had when he was alive. For the first time. The loving Christian. These types of people are genuinely some of the most insufferable people I've had the displeasure of coming across in my daily routine. These types of Christians don't yell at you. Instead, they talk slower. They talk quieter to give off the appearance of the gentle, pacifist child of God. They do so that anytime there is a confrontation, the poor little Christian is being attacked by the rabid sinner. They're lashing out in anger because they're misguided and they're just poor lost souls in the world. These are the types of people that have their hands put together and just the biggest smile on their face, the shit-eating grin, a smile that's just so perfect, that's so fake that they just look like a skinwalker. They don't even look human. They're trying so hard to look nice on the outside, when on the inside they're just as hateful as your typical hateful Christian. And I see through it so easily because they do such an awful job of appearing as such. These are the types of people that have to remind you that they're a good person, that they're the main character in the story because they were chosen by God to spread his love, to spread his gospel. They're the vessel for God. They say these kinds of things because they genuinely believe it shields them from just any form of criticism. They tell you that they're a good person because they think that we're gullible enough to believe it. These people genuinely think so highly of themselves that they act like the sinners, the normal people that don't follow the Bible. They think that these kinds of people are stupider than them. They think that they're so much better than everybody else because they dick ride the corpse of Christ. These people are so smug, they're so full of themselves that they have to find a way to convey to other people that they are better. And most of the time they do so by telling you that they're a good person and they're better than everyone, instead of letting their actions speak for themselves. But what separates them from the typical hateful Christian is that these people, they can't yell at you. They can't be louder to appear more correct. In my experience, what these people do instead is they put their hand on your shoulder and they explain the gospel to you like they're explaining what divorce is to a child. Hey, buddy, you know that Bible magic's real, right? Oh, you don't? That's okay, because you're just some poor, misguided little sinner. You don't know any better. It's my job to teach you, to enlighten you, to teach you about the ways of God, our just, our righteous God. And then the gospel is just the story of Christ and how he was put on the cross. I'm not a fucking child. I'm not a wounded animal that needs nurturing back to health. I'm a grown-ass man. A grown-ass man playing dress-up. But the point is, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know the basic story of the Bible. I read the Bible for fun. I don't need it explained to me like an episode of fucking Barney and Friends. I don't need to hear about the story of the crucifixion 5 different times from 5 different people who for some reason explain it the exact same way. These people are so in their heads about being correct, about being in charge of the conversation, that any rebuttals, any perspective that you give that isn't theirs just goes right over their heads, because their goal isn't to learn about the other side. It's to skip through my dialogue so they can say their next scripted line. When I explain to these people why I have the opinions that I do about the church, you know, the people, I tell them stories about the people that I know that have been hurt by the church, the stories of Christians that use their faith to be pedophiles, to be racist towards me. And I explain these stories to them, and then they don't even stop to even sit with that thought. They immediately respond with the, "Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry you were hurt by the church. Yes, racism is bad. Yes, pedophilia is bad. But..." Like, holy fucking shit, dude. Are you genuinely this fucking dense? What more could you add to the sentence, racism is bad? You people make me look like the modern day Diogenes. How are you trying to justify pedophiles and racists? And don't try to tell the Satanists to forgive thy neighbor, because the core of the Satanists is that we love everybody, but we hate our enemies. We do not turn the other cheek. Telling the Satanist to turn the other cheek, to forgive thy enemy, is like telling a racist to go hug my brown ass. And I'm not trying to say that Satanists are like racists. And then, most frustrating of all, for some reason these people try so hard to perpetuate the narrative that I'm some poor lost soul, I'm a sinner that was hurt by the church, and I'm just lashing out in anger because of it. And it's like, you didn't listen to a word I said. You wish I was hurt by the church. They think that they can just put their foot in the door, play therapist, and then maybe, just maybe, by the end of the conversation, I'll reconsider my ways of sin. No. Fuck no. Because I wasn't hurt by the church. I was raised by an Asian mom. There's literally nothing that you could say to me that could hurt me. I was not hurt by the church. The church is the last thing that I could ever think about throughout my daily routine. I have shower thoughts, thoughts on the toilet, thoughts when I'm shaving my ass that have more of an impact on me than the church. My job is to call you people out on your bullshit. You people are the ones that love to kick people while they're down, to treat everybody as inferior because they don't conform to your all-knowing religion. I am not gonna stand for anybody who has been indoctrinated, brainwashed, condemned, and outcasted by the church for being different. I'm not gonna stand for you guys making everybody else feel worthless about who they are as people because they're gay and they like the same gender. These people should not feel worthless about the way that they are because, oh, they don't follow your religion. My goal is not to say that Jesus isn't real. You guys are wrong and you deserve to die. My goal is to say that I respect faith. I don't respect faith that is being used to fearmonger. You would know that if you watched literally any of these videos in their entirety. They just see someone like me who wears the color red, has vaguely edgy symbols, and wears horns, and they think that I'm trying to summon the Antichrist. Now, yes, I'm not trying to say that I'm not fishing for that perception of me, but it's just like, you're really proving one of my main points of the Satan tapes. I dress very edgy because it's really easy for people to judge me based on that and not for my actual message. People can hear me and they can see me, but it takes a lot more effort to actually listen to what I'm saying. If you know what I'm saying, no pun intended. You people genuinely do not care about what I have to say. You care about judging me based on my appearance. Not only do you lose any validity, any validation in trying to argue with me because of that fact, it also makes you a racist. That's right. I'm playing the race card because of people like you. You people are genuinely so insufferable to sit with that I would rather sit with the hateful Christian, the ones that yell at you. I can respect those people because they aren't trying so hard to act like a snake and slither in and bite you and fill you with their poison. The hateful Christian is so committed to the bit, they're so devoted about their beliefs that all they care about is just spreading it to you. They aren't trying so hard to appear as something else, to be deceitful with their words and their actions. And I respect them for that. You know they're proud of what they're preaching. And you know damn well those people are actually racist. God, I lashed out really badly in this video, and I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. If you're someone who made it into this video, no matter like whether you're a child of Bathory, a child of mine, or a child of Christ, I just want you to comment that I made it to the end of this video, so that you can prove to me that you made it here. And you know what? If you did make it this far, I'm proud of you. I love each and every single one of you for listening to me rant for like 5 to 10 minutes. I want these hateful, Christians to come across the wrong person, say the wrong thing, and pay the consequences for it. I know that I preach to make things happen instead of wishing for them, but in this case, this is something that I can't bring out. Because I'm someone who's actively looking for confrontation. And these people know that I can't be intimidated. I want someone who's way smarter than me to tear these people down the same way that they try to tear down others for being themselves. Because you people don't actually love. You don't care about the other side. You don't even care about actually saving the sinners. All you care about is the fact that you can say that you saved the Satan guy. You only care about saving people like me because it reminds you that you're a good person. Because you have nothing else going on for you in your sad, miserable little lives.